Oh ragazzi, bentornati. Oggi continuiamo Outlast 2 e sono molto felice di spaventarmi anche oggi con Outlast. Proprio non vedevo l'ora. Iniziamo a fare tutto. Ok, ok. Eh sì ragazzi, oggi ci spaventeremo giusto un pochino, perché è sadico, vedere gli altri soffrire. Ed eravamo arrivati qua, nella caverna, alla miniera. Siamo sempre alla ricerca della nostra signora. Ah, ok, ah, è vero, è vero. Abbiamo talmente tante batterie che ormai quelle che prendiamo nuove le mette direttamente nella fotocamera. È sempre un piacere avere questi benvenuti. Giusto per tornare nel mood, no? Ancora sai, ancora sai, uno potrebbe perdersi il mood. Dicono, ti facciamo tornare subito nel mood, non ti preoccupare. Il microfono, capta nulla. Sempre molto simpatico tu, gioco? Io vado di là. Qual è mo la strada giusta?
You're not evil, Blake. Just confused.
Infatti.
Fuck.
Sulla via di Damasco ho sbloccato il trofeo.
They lived down here. No, not lived. I had to find Lynn. I hoped I hadn't already.
Siamo sempre su quella... Quindi qua non devo venirci a fare un guts. Quindi era giusto per sbloccare... Cioè per fare il filmato. No, dico perché di là c'era un altro passaggio. Qua. Ah, vermino piccolino. No, è giusto andare avanti di là. A quanto pare. Qua è dove sono arrivato. Allora. Di qua. Cazzo che te. Non è... Ah. Allora, qua non... Qua ci vivevano, no, di... Dai, gioco di merda. Sì, è vero. Che palle sti suoni, non mi fanno concentrare, oh, mi fanno impazzire. Nell'orecchio, madonna, è fastidiosissimo. Sento solo casino, non riesco neanche a pensare. Che casino! Sapevo. Lo sapevo. Lo sapevo. Non avevo per un cazzo paura. Lo sapevo soltanto. Non è divertente questa cosa qua. Metti il mostro nascosto dietro la porta che se apro mi ammazza. Per me no fan. Mm. E quindi? Cioè qual è lo scopo? Ma perché io vorrei passare, Magari c'è una strada che non ho visto ai lati. Magari devo semplicemente tornare indietro. Oh, guarda, sai quante volte già? Ah, è qua. Bastardo, mi prende. Ah, però non mi fa one shot. Ma non ti chiudere dentro col mostro. E qua c'è ancora il mostro dietro la porta, no? Guardati velocemente, bastardo. Io già non so più dove sono. Bastardo. Aspetta, giusto per capire. Se mi fa interagire. Beh. Tutto ciò per scopo di... Vabbè. Che fastidio. Ma perché non mi fa togliere la musica? Qua c'è un passaggio segreto? No? Ho fatto solo sbarrare la strada per... Cazzo mi devi inseguire qua? Un mostro. Ancora bloccato. Quindi che devo fare? Ah, ecco.
If you've done something, I want you to do
No, io non voglio tornare nella scuola. Bastardo, dov'è il mostro? Che gioco è? Uffa.
Oh, be careful, little hands, what you do.
Loving and hating God is the same thing. Like making and killing children is the same thing. She told me to meet her in the music room.
Ecco, lo sapevo che succedeva qualcosa.
What have you done to Lynn? Where is she?
We are creatures of appetite. I want to feel your hunger. I want to see your true face. Your seed will burn this world.
Where's Lynn?
Welcome her, infant lord. Naked, hiding nothing. I lay down this mess.
Crazy motherfucker!
I show
Where
my
is she?
true face. Show me your true face. Help me make this right.
Ah, ok, mi insegue. Aia, aia. Aiu, ye, ya, ya. Yo, yo. Yo, ya, ya, ya. Aia. Ma ce l'ho davanti.
He's come, fruit of your lust, your child, your father, the Christ we deserve. Watch.
Ma senza nascondersi sotto l'acqua. Ma lo sto facendo a culo first time. Io non so che cazzo. Io non so dove devo andare, qual è il mio scopo. Non so niente. Sto spegnendo tutto, ok.
Find Lynn. Nothing matters but Lynn.
Ho capito che devo trovare Lynn, ma nel breve termine cosa devo fare? Trova Lynn. Ma prima di trovare Lynn dovrò fare qualcosa adesso, no? Stronzo. Che ansiolina che c'ho.
What did you do to her? You can't keep a secret from yourself.
Ma io penso di aver capito in realtà, eh. Devo buttare il carretto affinché sfondi. Esatto. Ah, non può essere tirato da qui. Che devo far sì. E questo, andando all'indietro, sfondi la parete. Quindi sul punto più alto io adesso prendo e lo mollo. Ma... Ma Gesù, c'erano le pedate che indicavano giù.
God doesn't love you. Not like I do.
Porco Dio. Ma sto andando avanti comunque. Perché non ti... Ah, la stronza si è lanciata dietro di me. Puttana Eva. La sento vicino a me. Va bene. Aleo. A dopo. Vuoi vedere che entriamo nella scuola? Vuoi vedere? Ma vai a fare in culos. Porca di quella... E quindi? Ah, lo sai adesso. Strada facile o strada difficile? Ma sapevo che nella strada difficile c'era roba da prendere. Non ho nulla di utile per me perché ce l'ho al massimo le denti. Fanculo. Volevo le batterie, volevo le batterie. Ah, devo camminare in questo stato. Devo andare proprio verso i nemici. Che alla fine abbiamo scoperto che i mostri non sono.
Help me make this right. He's come.
Oh,
Lust, your child, your father, the Christ we deserve. Watch.
My God. Lynn!
You have to tell me.
Off of me.
Not unless you answer.
No.
Fine. Then you have to give up. If you say I win, I'll let you up.
Okay.
You have to say it.
You win, okay?
You're such a pushover, Blake. I don't know why you have to be so precious about it.
Did Lynn ask you to ask me?
I asked first. So,
I don't know.
nerd,
Shut up.
you are.
Ha chiamata Lynn,
She
perché non
said
Jessica?
ask, didn't she?
Maybe. I don't know. I just wanted to know.
You're a nerd too.
I know. You think your parents are home yet?
No. Usually not until after dinner.
You think I could come over?
Yeah, sure. Why?
Why what?
Like, why do you want to come over?
I don't know.
What don't you know, Jessica?
Oh, sorry.
What are the two of you doing in here?
I'm sorry, Father Loudermilk.
We stayed after school for journal? We were just leaving.
Let's step back into class, please.
Blake?
You're not in trouble yet, Blake. You don't want to get in trouble, do you?
Just stay with me.
Sto
I
qua.
want you to tell me what you were doing in here. Were you misbehaving? Do I need to call your parents? Jessica, do I need to call your father again?
No, please.
I only want us to be friends. Nobody's in trouble yet. Does one of you think you can make this right? Jessica? Jessica, look at
Ma
me.
vedi che questa è Jessica non lì.
Will you pray with me? Will you help me make this right? Why don't you go along home, Blake?
Vedi che abusava.
Did I interrupt something between you two?
It wasn't like that.
Then what did you want? You won't say? You know, shame is a gift from God to let you know right from wrong. And what you want is very wrong. Go home and pray.
Stay. I want you to stay.
Blake, please. This is awkward enough. Nothing's the matter, but I need you to leave us.
Don't.
Everything's okay. You can leave, young man. Walk away.
Adesso sono veramente un ragazzino. Non devo andare via, cioè, è giusto che io torni di là. Infatti. Arriva a scuola? Non è che corre.
Fuck! Fuck! Lynn! Lynn! You're pregnant. How are you pregnant?
Please. I don't want to die here. I don't want a baby to die here.
I won't let them kill you.
L'ho trovata.
We have to get out of here. We're out. I got Jessica out. It was cold, but the snow had just started. We'll find a grown-up and we'll tell them what happened. We'll be okay.
Sì, infatti, mo confonde Jessica e Lynn. Mamma mia, è fuori di testa il nostro protagonista, eh? È un po' c'è rimasto, perché giustamente la sua fidanzatina della scuola è stata abusata e poi uccisa dal prete, sai. È la strada giusta. Ok, è la strada giusta.
What the fuck?
We have to find shelter.
As far from those places we can get.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cazzo è quello un ponte? Oh.
Down here. We have to get inside before the baby comes.
It's too dangerous. You can't.
We can't stay out here. Help me down, please, Blake.
Okay, okay. Jesus. Be careful. Fuck! Fuck! Lynn! You okay? I'm coming down.
It hurts.
I'm sorry.
I need to lie down.
Back here.
Oh. Okay. Okay. I just.
It's gonna be okay.
Fuck.
Oh shit! Come on! Come on!
Ah, Madonna.
Oh, fuck! Jesus Christ, Blake! What the fuck? I think something's wrong. Ah! It hurts too much. I need to lay down.
Vai a dire al mostro che dobbiamo stenderci.
Oh, shit! Blake! God, give me voice! God, guide my hand! God, give me voice! God, guide my hand!
Dai, ti cadrà qualcosa in fronte, no?
God, guide my hand! God, give me voice! God, guide my hand!
Te l'ho detto e ti cadeva qualcosa addosso, stronza!
Fuck you! And fuck your god!
Ma adesso ci dobbiamo andare a riposare da qualche parte o dobbiamo continuare a camminare?
Blake, a path! It's getting worse!
Hurry. We'll find shelter.
It's like the whole world burnt!
Allora vedi che veramente è la fine del mondo.
Oh, shit! Blake!
Is it the baby?
Yeah, she's
Sotto il
coming
ponte.
soon.
Andiamo sotto il ponte.
There! The chapel! We can take shelter! The world was on fire, the baby was coming. Impossible, child. Lynn said Jess was like her little sister. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. None of this is my fault.
Ok, quindi si conoscevano tutti quanti alle elementari, medie, non lo so.
It's cold.
Keep moving.
Jesus!
Fuck! Storm's getting worse.
Siamo alle battute finali, comunque.
Come on, Lynn! We have to get inside!
Qua è la sala delle torture, però. E che cazzo abbiamo portato in pasto?
Oh shit! Shit, shit, shit! Oh,
You need to lie down.
I can't do this!
You can! You can do this!
Oh god! Something's wrong.
Just keep breathing.
Feels like something's wrong. Ah! It hurts too much.
I know, baby, I know. But you can do this, okay? Just keep breathing.
Oh, fuck! Fuck! Ah! Oh god! Oh god!
Keep breathing.
It's
Just
killing
push.
me! Ah!
Lynn!
There's nothing there.
Oh, Jesus God! Lynn! 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 No! Lynn! No! Lynn!
Che trauma. Non mi fare non mi fare lo spaventino, Lynn. Rimani morta se devi rimanere morta. Ok.
So, Lynn said you haven't even kissed her yet.
What?
Like in Beauty and the Beast?
Oh, you mean drama. The
play. We're saving for the, like, actual night.
Uh-huh.
We are.
Okay.
We, like, cheek kiss.
So, like, is she your girlfriend? Tell me, or else.
Or else what? Stop it, get off.
I got you again.
That's the child, isn't it? My God. You're taking care of my children. But yours... I am powerless again. The child's too strong already. You've murdered paradise. God has gone silent. Since the storm, the birth. Who will he have if he destroys us all? Who will he have left to punish? I killed my children. All of them. Every last one. There's no more perfect faith than that. And still, God is silent. Kill that child if you can. If you love anything at all, crush its skull under your heel. I know God doesn't hear dead men, but I expect he answers them.
Vabbè. Sembra di vedere il film di Shyamalan. Potrei quasi... Ah, ok, boh, Lynn è morta. E armati di un coltello, di qualcosa, mannaia. Apocalisse, ho sbloccato il trofeo.
Hey, Blake. Try to find me. Over here. This way, Blake. Don't worry. I'll the light has gone away. Savior, listen while I pray, begging thee to watch and keep, and send me quietly to sleep. Watchful Savior, wash away all I've been wrong today. Help me every day to be gentle, gentle, more like thee.
Rinascita. E l'ho finito, ragazzi, Ma adesso io la prima cosa che sto per fare è scoprire se ci sono finali alternativi. Eh no, mi sa che ragazzi c'è solo questo qua di ending. Un altro finale dove uguale identico a quello che abbiamo appena visto, ma dove Jessica non aveva la faccia viola e il segno della botta normale e fanno la stessa cosa, pregano nello stanzino. Oddio, vediamo. Adesso ci guardiamo la spiegazione del finale, perché è tutto come si dice, una metafora. Tutto quello che abbiamo visto non è reale. Adesso guardiamo questo video di... Allo? Perché si sposta questo? Sì. Ok, ok, ok. Adesso ci guardiamo il gaming hair. Il Ok. 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 Vedi, anche lui ha avuto il finale senza la Jessica morente. Mm?
fornication.
Sono un
Claimed
pirla. Vado fino adesso senza l'audio per voi.
to hear a message hidden in the static. In his mind, a message to him from God. It states that Noth heard the message say that God was unhappy with the churches in the world and that he needed a brave new prophet to carry his message. On the back of this, Noth started to preach on the streets and out in public. He became very influential, with people choosing to follow him and donate large sums of money and possessions. The cult lived on a ranch owned by a rich lady called Lydia Dagan. It was at this point that Noth recorded the messages he was getting from God in a book called The Gospel of Noth. Sullivan Noth became more and more fanatical by the day, now encouraging the women of the cult to breed regularly and even getting involved himself, if you know what I mean. Noth also took it on himself to deliver every child. But this gave birth, excuse the pun, to trouble for Noth. Due to the home births, the police were given permission to raid the ranch due to safety concerns. Many followers were arrested after dead bodies were found on the estate, but Noth managed to escape with a bunch of his remaining followers. With all the church possessions seized, the church had lost everything. Drawing on inspiration from Moses and Abraham in the Bible, Noth climbed a mountain to have a little conflab with the boss, whilst naked, as you do, and felt that God told him to slit open his eyeball. He did so and saw a vision of his future church. A town deep in the wilderness. I think you can see where this is going now. He would call this town Temple Gate, and the purpose of this town was for his followers to wait there for the end times. The cult settled here in 1971. It's referenced in the Gospel of Noth chapter 1 verse 1 that the only problem was that indigenous tribes happened to live there, so naturally they did what any murderous cult would do and they forcefully took the land for themselves. Noth hears a couple of messages which are the catalyst for the cult being the messed up state that it is. The Antichrist will be born out of his own flock, killing children is okay, incest is okay providing the mother of the child is dead, and Noth can sleep with whomever he wishes. Whilst we only see
Arrivo
Noth
subito.
twice during the course of the game's narrative is drenched in its gospel. Blake stumbles across followers of Noth who are constantly reciting scriptures and singing songs out of pure devotion. Over the years, Noth's cult will become more and more deranged and fanatical, in the end going completely insane. We'll dive into the reason for this insanity a little bit later on. They frequently killed their own children due to being completely devoted to Noth's vision and purpose of preventing the Antichrist from being born out of their flock. They were viciously protective of their town and their purpose, and this is shown through Martyr, a kind of enforcer for the cult, whom all the other cult members were scared of. Quickly moving on to Martyr, it appears from the game that Noth knew Martyr when she was growing up, and he potentially groomed her. She felt guilty for killing people, but Noth told her that even though it was sin in the eyes of God, it was basically needed to be done to protect God's plan. The cult, however, was unravelling. Ethan was the first sign of the cult falling apart, and that some members were losing faith in Noth. This is shown at the end when every single member commits
Non ho
suicide
capito,
by
quella lì che va
poisoning
in
when
giro è la
Noth informs them
figlia?
that they failed to prevent the birth of the Antichrist. Led by the unmistakable Val, the heretics came about when Val, then a member of the cult, started being consumed with lustful dreams of killing. We find this in a note in Val's journal where Val feels the dreams are a message, but the message is nothing holy. Val arranged to meet with other cultists who had similar dreams to them. These meetings caused the cult of Noth to be split in two. The members, after living in and around the mines for so long, had gone so insane to the point of now being like animals, covering themselves in mud and sticks, moving like marsupials, and their language appeared to be broken English. Their main goal was the polar opposite to Noth's. They wanted the Antichrist.
Penso che fossero
This was
mostri.
all born out of Val's desire for chaos and destruction, and Val ultimately felt that the birth would bring out exactly that. The heretics and the cult, being that they have such differing views, are embroiled in an all-out civil war. This all comes to a head when Blake awakens from a dream after being assaulted by Val. The heretics have been killed by the cult, but the heretics have ultimately succeeded in their mission. In their minds at least, the Antichrist has been birthed. Now, with all that unprotected sex with every woman in the village, sexual diseases such as gonorrhea and syphilis spread like wildfire. This leads us to the Skald. The village became afflicted by these diseases, and anyone who became infected was sent off an outcast to live in the mountains. The Skald, by its definition, means covered in lesions, bumps, and sores. Noth would tell his deacon Laird that the reason for this affliction was the result of their sins. Laird became afflicted by disease himself and was cast out by Noth, but retained his devotion, even keeping in regular contact with Noth. You recall from the story that Laird and his mount Nick were pushed off the edge by the Skald because there was rising mutiny within the ranks of the Skald, and they weren't happy with how they were being led. So, if the Skald are sick with gonorrhea and syphilis, what about Noth? Well, we learn that Noth is suffering from these afflictions too, but he sent some of his apostles out to the towns and cities to obtain penicillin for him to be able to keep his sickness in check. He kept it for himself, of course, because, well, it's Noth. He lied to his followers and said it's a study aid instead. Now, the disturbing part is this. The Skald believed that they would crucify the Skald Messiah, who they believed was Blake, after finding his camera, then bury him and then eat his flesh. They believed this would cure them of their affliction and they could go back and live amongst the cult members once again. As the cult members and the heretics are all dead at the end, the Skald would still be alive, I guess, but with nothing left to live for. It's probable that they just roamed the forest until they died. Okay, so confession time. I actually found the school section more disturbing, scary, and unsettling than the village.
Infatti.
Straight up creepy. But this section is actually crucial as it gives us backstory into Blake. The reason I found it more disturbing, the mysterious demon. You know, the one that is basically just a massive limbs and a huge tongue. We get the hint throughout the game that something terrible happened to Jessica. At first, it seems like it was a suicide. We even find that suicide note from Jessica. But at the end of the game, after many visions, the big reveal. Father Loutermilch tried to sexually assault Jessica as Blake was leaving, so she ran off, being chased by Loutermilch. Blake opens the door to find Jessica there with a broken neck, and Loutermilch standing at the top of the stairs. This echoes an earlier vision where we saw the demon standing at the top of the stairs. It's heavily implied that this demon is Loutermilch, and represents Blake's own view of Loutermilch, that he is an evil demon roaming the school. This is confirmed when you see the demon has the same facial birthmark as Loutermilch. It's clear now that Loutermilch confirmed when you see the demon has the same facial birthmark as Loutermilch.
Quindi in pratica lui vedeva il suo professore barra prete come un mostro, quale era. Proprio sotto forma di mostro, visto che era un bambino.
It's clear now that Loutermilch threatened Blake to keep quiet, an act which has clearly haunted Blake throughout his childhood, so much so that he still has dreams about Jessica, like we see at the start during the chopper scene. So, it's implied in the game that the baby wasn't real, as there was no shadow cast showing Blake to be holding absolutely nothing. But Blake sees a baby, Noth sees a baby, and the cult and the heretics believe there to be a baby, but how? Here's how. Now, those of you that played Outlast 1 will remember the Murkoff Corporation who facilitated the shocking events at Mount Massive Asylum in Outlast 1. Well, believe it or not, although not glaringly obvious, they are involved, heavily involved. Recall the bright flash of light and the noise which disoriented the villagers? Murkoff. Let me explain. In Outlast 1, we found a document from a lady named Jennifer Rowland, which stated that after conducting her 14th autopsy on a variant, she became tired of her work, tired of Dr. Wernicke, and requested a transfer. A transfer to where? Well, we find a document by the lake in Outlast 2, which states that a Jenny Rowland is here. And what is more telling is that this document describes the towers which we see in the background and the subjects, who are the citizens of Temple Gate.
Oh, penso.
It mentions that the signal remains strong even after a severe storm. The note seems to be written by someone not involved in the cult, not one of the heretics or the Skald. It seems to be written by a researcher working with Jenny Rowland, therefore another Murkoff employee. Remember, Murkoff was shut down on the back of their MK Ultra mind control experiments, so what better place to go and practice their research than in the wilderness of Arizona? Alright, so this document actually pieces everything together, as this document describes a mysterious feedback loop. The author of this note mentions that this loop somehow makes the signal stronger the closer they got to the site. It's clear that this site is Temple Gate, where the cult was located, but areas such as the top level of the mines were also affected, as were the mountains where the Skald lived. Now, it seems that short-term exposure to the signals that the tower gave off were okay, but in the long term, frequent exposure to these signals would result in hallucinations and visions dependent on the subject's own psyche. Sounds kind of familiar to the morphogenic engine, doesn't it? In Blake's case, he didn't really seem affected by the second flash of light when approaching the chapel, as he hadn't experienced many of these signals yet. But the more he experienced, the more vivid his visions became. He held on to a lot of guilt regarding walking away from Jessica when Loutermilch told him to leave. He felt responsible in some way for her death. This is also why the cultists became more and more devoted and deranged, even willing to kill their own children for the cause, because they were manipulated to do so. They were all test subjects to the Murkoff Corporation. Now, this also explains to us why Lynn was still relatively sane when Blake found her. She escaped Noth's cult early on, but after being caught, was taken deep into the mine straight away. It's highly likely that the signals couldn't reach all the way down there. Everyone except for Lynn had been heavily subjected to the signals from Murkoff Towers, which explains why she didn't see a baby. Blake, due to his deteriorating mental state, and as a result being very suggestible, genuinely believed that Lynn was pregnant, so his mind made it believe that there was a baby. As did Noth. This explains why Noth also saw a baby in Blake's arms. It needs to be mentioned as well that Blake starts referring to the cultists as adults. His mental age has seemingly regressed back to his child state. Blake also becomes so delusional at the end that he has all but replaced Lynn in his thoughts with Jessica, and speaks of keeping Jessica safe. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Lynn appeared pregnant and gave birth. Well, we found a document in Outlast 1 claiming that exposure to the morphogenic engine could cause phantom pregnancies in women. Phantom pregnancies are a condition in which nausea and abdominal swelling are present in a woman who is not actually pregnant. It's possible that Lynn was caught somewhere between the two extremes. The signal being relayed by the tower at the start caused Lynn to have a phantom pregnancy, but she was not exposed to the signals enough for her to actually go insane. We're now going to take a journey and have a quick look at the Murkoff account, a series of comic books which help explain what happened prior to and after the events in Temple Gate. Let me introduce you all to Paul Marion and Pauline Glick. They work for Murkoff's litigation department, or rather, they just help clean up Murkoff's mess, silencing problems of Murkoff. But normally this just meant making veiled threats, which Pauline mentions in issue 2 of the Murkoff account. These two were looking for Wayland Park, you know, from Whistleblower, and encountered Simon Peacock. Just in case you don't remember, Peacock is the man who was standing over Wayland at the end of Whistleblower. Peacock escaped but went back and slipped a note into Paul's mailbox with coordinates on it, with the message, "Your daughter is connected." Paul went to those coordinates, but he encountered a bright white light, the signal towers. Paul then started to hallucinate and see a vision of his dead wife in the hospital where she died. We also learned that Paul's daughter Alice is also sick and needs a blood transfusion. He comes to and is attacked by what appears to be a cultist from Temple Gate with a young pregnant girl. Paul kills the cultist after a struggle, but the girl has run off. Family find Paul bleeding out and take him to the hospital. But it appears that the girl has also been taken to the hospital. They don't know the girl's name, so they just call her Jane Doe. Paul makes mention of the psychosomatic pregnancies we discussed earlier. However, the baby is healthy and is real. The doctor mentions anomalies in the girl's brain scans, and Pauline Glick mentions similarities in brain lesions due to scarring from the morphogenic engine. It's implied here that the morphogenic engine is being used via the signal towers at Temple Gate. Paul and Pauline go to see the girl and they notice a tattoo on her chest. It's a symbol from the book of Ezekiel in the Bible. The girl starts to have a seizure and Pauline tells Paul to get a doctor. But Pauline kills the girl and the child, knowing that this is the work of Murkoff, like I said, clearing up their mess. Paul goes home for Alice's blood transfusion, but she isn't there, and a message is scrawled on the wall which states, "You work for us now," along with Alice's finger on the ground. Meanwhile, Pauline goes to clean up the dead body in the desert that Paul left earlier, but doesn't find anything. It's revealed to us that Marta recovered the body. Now this leads us to the epilogue. Noth is seen administering poison to one of his cultists and he enters the church, playing out this scene with Blake. While this scene is happening, a colony of ants which have been possessed by the Wall Rider, the Wall Rider, begin to attack the Murkoff radio tower. It's likely that this action caused the towers to break down and emit a signal stronger than ever, causing the storm, then the bright flash which Blake sees at the end of the game. But in the real world, time passes. 7 hours later, Pauline arrives at the site. She states that she believes Simon Peacock has been giving Paul information about Temple Gate. We see Lynn, and Pauline mentions that Lynn was at the hospital asking questions about Jane Doe a few days earlier. She mentions that it was Paul's job to make sure that Lynn and Blake didn't find Temple Gate. They find Blake, but he's completely catatonic. They send him to a facility for experimentation. Given that Blake is now Murkoff's test subject means that he's likely dead. Or maybe he'll feature in the Outlast trials in some way. We just don't know. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up the story of Outlast 2. I hope this did a good job of explaining what happened, why it happened, and what it all means. If
Congratulations.
you enjoyed this story explanation video, don't forget to leave a like on it and comment down below your theories on what you think happened. Subscribe to support the channel, but for now, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
Avete capito? Quindi adesso sto lasciando like e tutto quanto. E quindi avete capito? Praticamente era tutta un'allucinazione enorme. Ma pensa un po'. Bene, sono contento di aver finito Outlast. Non mi sembra che ci siano DLC in questo. Quindi lo sto riaprendo giusto per esserne sicuro. Quindi quello che io registravo quando ero di là è rimasto proprio così. Penso che a fine gioco, diciamo, si sbloccavano.
I'm Lynn Langerman, here for newstomorrow.net. We're flying past the Havasupai Indian Reservation in central Arizona in search of the origins of murder victims.
Comunque ragazzi è stato un gioco bellissimo. Ho fatto cacare addosso parecchie volte. E io penso proprio che per oggi siamo a posto così. Grazie a tutti ragazzi e alla prossima. Con le vedo cosa trovo. Forse iniziamo a Resident Evil 7. Ciao a tutti ragazzi.